and welcome to the Complete Hire Equipment WRFL Week 2 Finals Preview. I'm Andrew Wilson, and with me as always, Pepe Cavalieri.
Hello, Willow.
Hello, Pepe. Welcome. And we'll start with Rams Division 1. We start off on Saturday at Avalon Airport Oval, the second semi-final, with the winner to advance to the grand final with Altona taking on Deer Park. Altona have won both encounters this year against the Lions, so they go in with a lot of confidence. How do you think this game will play out?
I don't know, Willow. It's going to be an incredibly good game of football. We know the earlier game they won by heaps in the home and away, and it was just 3 goals the second time around the Vikings. So they've got form on their side this year, but we know that doesn't mean a lot come finals. We saw it last year. They were knocked off in the same fixture by Deer Park quite convincingly. In the end, I think it's a little bit different this time around, Willow. Altona's form is better. They're coming into the finals in good touch. In saying that, so are the Lions. I think they've won their past 5, and they've all been really strong opponents, apart from maybe Point Cook late in the year. But the Lions, they proved at the weekend that come September, they know how to get the job done. A few selection concerns, obviously. You know, the likes of Jack Purton-Smith weren't playing last week. Kevin Clicks as well didn't play.
Yeah, Shannon Burns.
Yeah, so there's a raft of players they could bring into that lineup, and difficult to kick anyone out because pretty much all of them had really, really good games, and that's their strength. Deer Park, they have incredible depth. So certainly they'll be into it until late in the last quarter. I'm just going with the Vikings. I think the week off this year, might be pivotal. That game against Spotswood that Deer Park played was extremely physical. There'll be some sore Lions bodies, I think. Whether that could work in their favour too, I think for Deer Park, they could be really battle-hardened and ready to go. So if Altona are a chance, they need to make sure that they equalise the physicality early. I think they should be able to do that. They've been a very good team all year, Altona, and I think they deserve a spot in the grand final.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting game. If the Altona are without Mitch Norton and Tom Mundy, who had VFL commitments last week, they have the week off. Yeah. So we wonder whether they will be allowed to play this weekend for Altona. I thought Jace Perkins was brilliant last week with his 5 goals, match-winning performance by Jace Perkins. I'm going to go with the Lions in this one to defeat Altona. And then on Sunday is the first semi-final with Spotswood taking on Werribee Districts. The Woodsmen defeated by 30 points last week by the Lions, and Werribee Districts with a big win over Hoppers Crossing in interesting conditions. The match was paused for about 10 minutes during the third quarter due to lightning, but an 8-goal blitz in that third quarter by the Tigers really got the job done.
Yeah, they were really good, Werribee Districts, right from the get-go. Probably had a chance to kill the game off in the second quarter, didn't, and to Hoppers Crossing's credit, really fought back hard. But that second half, once the rain came, they were just too good in the contest. Werribee Districts scored way too easily and took their chances, which is something perhaps they haven't been able to do in finals. It's something they didn't do against Spotswood in the exact final, or in the elimination final in 2018, Willow. So I suppose it's an interesting one, this one, between Spotswood and Werribee Districts, because recent history suggests that the Tigers have the wood on them, but if you go beyond that, the Woodsmen have really had the wood on them. So it's a difficult one to pick. The Woodsmen, likely without Dave Iacarino, such a huge loss, suffered a groin injury against the Lions last week, and Grant Williams as well. Didn't look great hobbling around on that ankle. He was putting weight on it after the game, which is a positive sign, so we'll have to wait and see. And certainly, I think Del Grosso and Patak have to be considered again. They were left out and potentially left wanting just a touch in the midfield for some depth and also for some height, especially. It was basically 1 ruck against 3. Yeah, it was. With Stuart, Greenhoff and Kelm rucking for the Lions. So even though Murray Boyd did quite a good job, considering I think they maybe lacked 1 extra tall just for a target up forward and around the ground. I think the Woodsmen will do enough. Yep. I just think that their first finals win in 4 years, Werribee Districts last week. There's probably still a little question mark over whether they can string it together for 2, 3, 4 weeks in September. I just think the Woodsmen are a little better rounded, and I think they'll win.
Right, I'm going to go with Werribee Districts to advance to the preliminary final.
A tough call.
Yeah, it is. Very close game, that should be. On the other game on Saturday in Division 2 will be at Penrith Reserve. In the preliminary final will be Windham Vale Falcons taking on Parkside. Windham Vale won all 3 contests this season over Parkside by an average margin of 88 points. It was 138 points 2 weeks ago. Can you see an upset here at all, Pepe?
Look, I don't think so. The numbers are too stark to ignore. An average of 88 points is significant. The 138.1, you kind of throw it out because the teams were... I mean, Parks had rested a lot of their key players to be ready for the first final, and it worked. Probably justified. I mean, they were fresh. They finished the game off stronger than Point Cook Centrals in difficult conditions. They got the job done. Just 4 points. I do believe, and I said this a few weeks ago, I think Parkside will probably get well beaten in the last round of the year, and if they get through Point Cook Centrals, whoever they play out of Windham Vale and Yarraville Seton Eagles, I think they'll give a really good run, and I think they'll do much better than they've done in the home and away season. And finals football and Parkside, if it gets down and dirty, I reckon they might be able to certainly be a nuisance. And the longer you stay in a game, the more you're a chance. So I think they are a chance, a slim chance, but I don't think they'll win in the end. Yeah,
I'm going to go with the Falcons to win this one. The Eagles did snap their 8-game winning streak, so maybe it's a loss maybe they needed. We'll find out in the next few weeks. Division 3 on Sunday at Penrith Reserve as well in Braebrick will be the preliminary final between Sunny Heights and Glen. Orden. Sunshine Heights, they gave up a 19-point lead midway through that final quarter, so they'd be very disappointed that they're not playing in a grand final, but they can bounce back this week against Glen. Orden had a very good win over Tarneit.
Yeah, it's going to be a terrific game. We saw this fixture a couple of weeks ago and Sunshine Heights got the job done. So I think we should expect another really good contest, Willow, between two really strong teams. Two teams with differing form lines, it must be said. Sunshine Heights really finished the season off really well. Glen Orden, a little indifferent in their form from sort of round 8 onwards. Kind of split their games 50-50, had a lot of players out, welcomed a few back at the weekend. Not as many as we thought they might. So I'm not sure they're still at full strength. To be fair, if you look at their team from the weekend, maybe some more will come back in this weekend. Regardless of who wins, it's going to be a really good story for both clubs. Yeah. We know Glen Orden, where they've come from a couple of seasons ago, not playing football at all. Sunshine Heights, they're just a very likeable mob, aren't they, down there at Glen Gala Road? And I think it would be wonderful to see them play off in a premiership. I don't think a lot of people expected them to be a top 2 team this year.
Probably same for Glen Orden as well.
Yeah, probably that fair comment as well. But I'm easing my way towards the Dragons. I just think they can play a lot of different ways. And they play with a lot of heart, Willow, and I think you need a bit of that to get the job done in September. So I'm on them.
Yep, I'm going to go with the Dragons as well. So that has been the complete Hire Equipment Week 2 Finals preview. Good luck to your team this weekend.